Izaberi pravi broj. Blic TV od sada na kanalu Iris 117, Supernova i SAT 17 i Jetel 10.
Dobar dan i dobrodošli u još jednu epizodu sa Tamarom kroz Beograd. Ukoliko se danas niste probudili u Beogradu, nažalost,
mi jesmo.
Mi smo tu da vas provedemo kroz neka najlepša mesta. Moja prijateljica Lejla je tu danas sa mnom. Ona je inače rođena u Cirihu, ali je sa Balkana i priča naš jezik, znači razume ovu moju najavu.
Sve razumijemo, kako da ne.
Sigurna sam da ste je već gledali u jednu od prethodnih epizoda. Mi danas nastavljamo našu avanturu Beogradom. Sigurna sam da nam nećete zameriti što ćemo nastaviti konverzaciju na engleskom jeziku kako bi i naša šira publika razumela što više. Trenutno smo ispred Botaničke bašte u Beogradu, zapravo već smo tu i provešćemo vas kroz staklenik. Pa da krenemo. After you, Madame.
Here. Oh, wow.
I'm bringing you somewhere very special today. And as Belgrade is a bit chilly,
absolutely.
Inside here is quite warm.
Wow, so impressive.
Right?
Hello, dobar dan.
Hello, Tamara, drago mi je.
My name is Tomica.
Lejla, drago mi je.
Welcome to Botanical Garden Jevremovac. This is a sort of a tropical paradise in the very city center of Belgrade.
Be the paradise.
Yeah. Our greenhouse was built in 1892 and it is protected as a monument of culture. And the entire botanical garden is also protected as a monument of nature. So we are a double protected area in the city center of Belgrade. And this is also a center of biodiversity. We keep approximately 1,100 different species from across the world in the greenhouse and over 1,000 species in the open area that you will also have the opportunity to visit today.
It's interesting to learn more about specific plants from the Balkan region that you talked about. Because for me, like if you would ask me now about a plant from the Balkan, I would be like, I don't know, to be honest. So I'm very curious about that. Would you know?
Maybe like few, like...
we will talk about some of them.
Okay.
Yeah, we will see Pančićeva morika.
Morika, that's the only one I know, to be honest.
It is one of the symbols of the botanical garden, and Josip Pančić, who founded the garden in 1874, also discovered Pančićeva morika. And this is also important year for us. We are celebrating 150 years of the botanical garden in Belgrade this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, and, let's have a look.
Yes. There is a lot of plants here coming from various parts of the world. This is a conifer, for example. It's called Araucaria. It comes from the southern hemisphere and it grows on a group of islands called Norfolk Islands. It's endemic to that area, and the cones of this species can be huge. They can be as big as a rugby ball, for example.
It's like a coconut.
Wow.
Yeah. And the seeds are also quite big, and they're also edible. So it's quite interesting. And this plant is decorative, and it's widely used as an ornamental species. So you can also find it in flower shops in Serbia, and it's also popular as a house plant. We also have bananas.
Ooh,
quite a few of them. And also bananas produce flowers and fruits here almost every winter. And this is a wild banana, so the fruits are not as big as those that we are used to eat, and they're not as sweet.
Have you tried them?
No, not yet. This is vanilla plant. It's used to make fragrances, but it's also used as a spice, which you know, in cakes.
Would have never thought that that's what vanilla looks like.
Yeah.
I always imagined it kind of like a bean.
Exactly.
It is a,
Yeah, sort
it's a
of.
sort, yeah.
Yeah,
Sort of.
But it's an orchid. There is a parasitic plant called Rafflesia arnoldi, produces the largest flower in the world, which smells like rotten meat. And it grows at the base of tetrastigma, uses a lot of sugars and all the food that tetrastigma is making, and it invests it. Yeah, it reduces the growth of tetrastigma, and it invests a lot in the growth of that huge flower.
I have so many questions. First of all, this reminds me of, you know, in the movies, whenever there's a jungle, there's usually a snake.
You have.
Yeah.
There's always a snake falling from this plant.
Absolutely.
There is also a lot of ficus species. Maybe you know this one. This is a popular ornamental plant also, a house plant.
Yeah.
This one also, Ficus deltoides.
Wow, this is actually very impressive.
I think this Monstera plant is quite known, right? Like, for example, a lot of people I know in their households, they have those Monsteras.
Monstera deliciosa, it's quite popular, and this is a rare opportunity to see its fruits. So almost every year we have fruits. Fruits, when they're completely ripe, are edible. But if they are not ripe, then they can be dangerous, not really poisonous, but they can cause severe throat irritations, allergies also. But when it's ripe, people say that it's a mixed taste of pineapple and banana. Wow. It's quite cool.
Oh, exotic.
Yeah.
Yummy.
I love this garden. You know, it reminds me, I'm a big Hari Potter fan. And it reminds me a little bit of when they're having this kind of botanical, magical plants lesson.
Yeah.
I'm not so into Harry Potter, I cannot.
We try to tell interesting stories about plants. So we also use Harry Potter, we use mythology, and it's quite interesting. Some people really like night tours through the greenhouse. It looks amazing. And especially for the Valentine's Day,
a proposal?
A proposal is always an option.
Exactly.
And we have nice evening guided tours with sparkling wine, which is really popular.
That's nice.
In the time when orchids are blooming, birds of paradise are in bloom, so it's quite amazing.
Oh, it's delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, next room.
So, yeah, we are going to Mexico.
Welcome to Mexico.
There are different types of agave, but the thing that is common for all of them is that they produce flowers only once in their lifetime. So it takes quite a long time for an agave plant to flower. And when they do, they die.
Oh.
This is a part of agave collection, and a few years ago we had one agave blooming in the greenhouse here, which is a really rare phenomenon in the greenhouse. And we had one that was around 10 years old. It produced a huge inflorescence with a lot of flowers, a lot of nectar, like the sweet juice dripping down the flowers. And it produced over 400 babies. And we distributed them to schools, to our visitors. We gave them as gifts. So it was quite popular. At that time, it was February, so it was midwinter. We had queues to enter the greenhouse. People were really interested to see agave blooming. And agave are really important in the culture of Mexican people. So they use it to produce various things. For example, you can use the fine structures in the leaves to produce lace, for example. You can even make shoes, or you can use them as a sewing needle. So you use the top part of the leaf, and yeah. It's still quite warm here, so I suggest maybe we can go outside and see some other parts of the garden.
Absolutely.
from Mexico, we are now traveling to Japan. Yeah.
But here it definitely doesn't feel like I'm in Belgrade.
No.
Yeah, it's a really nice zone in the botanical garden. It's quite popular among the visitors, and the idea was to somehow make closer the tradition of the Far East and the culture of the Far East to all the visitors of the botanical garden. So this is a typical naturalistic Japanese garden, which has all the typical elements: wood, stones, plants, water. And the plants here are quite typical and quite important. So there is Japanese cherry.
You have koi fish.
Yes, we have koi fish. Yeah. There is a small pond with koi fish.
Wow.
So those are koi carps, actually. And this interesting zigzag bridge.
Yeah.
So in Japan, they believe that evil ghosts can only follow a straight line. So when you're crossing the bridge, evil ghosts follow you.
Oh.
But when you step to the next part of the bridge...
I'm trying to trick my ghost.
Yes.
Of the past.
Fall into the water and you're safe to go to the other part.
The problem is, what if I fall in the water and the
Yeah, let's try not to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And it gets more trickier and trickier, huh? I love
Very proud.
this.
It's
Now
so
I can breathe in and say that this is really beautiful.
Thank you. We try to keep the Japanese garden nice in all seasons. Now we had to protect some plants from frost, but most of them can even survive winter in Belgrade.
Also, it feels a bit colder in here.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of water, a lot of plants. All of this water is underground water. We collect that water. There is a system of pumps, and we also use that underground water to water the plants in the botanical garden. So we try to avoid the use of the city water.
Yeah.
So
you're kind of you have a little self-supply system.
Exactly.
Almost self-sustainable.
Wow.
Yeah. And water is now essential to help plants survive extreme temperatures during the summer and extreme drought. Climate change is our reality, unfortunately.
Temperature in summer here in Belgrade is actually sometimes crazy, right?
It can be really high. This summer we had one of the worst droughts in the few decades. So the team of gardeners here invested a lot of effort to preserve the plants in the garden. They come from various parts of the world. Not all of them are used to high temperatures and drought. So it was quite a challenge for us, but we made it. Most of them survived.
Wow.
We have an amazing team of people working in the botanical garden. Yeah.
And the love, of course.
Yeah, the love is essential.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think also what really makes this place, maybe when you say go to a botanical garden, does not sound like the most fun thing to do, but what makes a big, big difference and makes it really interesting for us is that you can feel a lot of love that all of you have here for what you do and for the plants and knowledge that you have, which makes so much difference.
Yeah, thank you. And we always suggest, if you're coming to the garden for the first time, book a guided tour. It's going to be a completely different experience.
Totally.
Pančićeva omorika, or Serbian spruce, is one of the symbols of the botanical garden in Belgrade. And Josip Pančić, the founder of the botanical garden, discovered Pančićeva omorika in 1875. It was one of the most important botanical discoveries at the end of the 19th century. It was not really common that a new tree species is found at the end of the 19th century in Europe. Distribution is quite limited. It only grows in a small part of western Serbia and eastern Bosnia, in the canyon of river Drina and on mountains Tara and Zvijezda, and it is now endangered. It used to live with the dinosaurs even before the Ice Age, so it was more widely distributed, and it survived the Ice Age only in that small, limited region. It's a relic species, it's old, it survived the Ice Age, and it's also endemic, only limited to that small area. But it's also used as an ornamental plant. You can see it in many parks across Europe. It's also used as a line 3 close to highways, for example, because it can tolerate high rates of air pollution, and it can also tolerate extreme cold. So that's why it is a popular city tree. So you can quite frequently see it in different city parks. Sometimes they call it the best ambassador of Serbia in the world, because almost every botanical garden around the world has at least one Serbian spruce.
Is it true that when Josip Pančić died, they buried him in a coffin?
Yeah, the coffin in which Josip Pančić is buried is made of omorika tree.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. It's a bit like a Christmas tree.
It looks
Yes.
amazing. Yes, it's quite elegant. In nature, it can be really narrow. It looks amazing.
Wow, that was impressive, huh?
Absolutely, I learned so much, honestly, and I really want to work on my skills now. Like, this is my goal for next year.
I'm so happy you got inspired.
I'm gonna be a plant whisperer. You will see, girl. You will see.
We will hold you accountable. Well, from the sort of like natural oasis, we're gonna go straight to the jungle, like a concrete jungle, but for a very specific reason. I'm gonna bring you to Monument of Vuk, Vuk of Spomenik. I'm sure you heard of it, especially from like music, considering as well that you like to listen to Serbian music. So we're gonna go there next.
Very interesting, because my music taste, I think people would be very surprised when they knew what I'm listening to.
Let's see. Vukov spomenik u Beogradu je jedan od najvažnijih simbola srpske kulture i istorije. Podignut je u čast Vuku Karadžiću, reformatoru srpskog jezika i književnosti, i simbolizuje njegovu borbu za prosvetljenje i nacionalnu identifikaciju. I love this park, especially because it's so beautiful kind of every time of the year. You will see a lot of people walking through. It's kind of like a very important part as well. You will see a lot of people with the pets.
Yes, a lot of dogs.
Yeah,
actually.
I love that. But now we're gonna actually walk towards the monument to a very, very important person for Serbian language and culture. And I'm gonna tell you all about it.
Can't wait.
So we even have a friend who's gonna join us, so we can even know much more than I know. Ready?
Amazing, let's do it.
Dobar dan, dobar dan.
Bravo.
Mi se vidimo opet, a ovo je moja drugarica Leila.
Leila. Drago mi je.
Takođe, dobrodošla.
Hvala, bolje vas našla.
Today you get welcomes in every language, Leila.
Absolutely, we're very international
Yes.
today. Like Belgrade, it is. It
Yes,
is
it
a
is.
very international.
Yes. We speak English in front of the monument dedicated to Vuk Karadžić, the man who actually made our letter almost perfect. Actually, Serbian alphabet, Cyrillica, he has 30 letters and 30 sounds. So we can write and read whatever we want.
And Leila can read Cyrillica.
Cyrillica.
Yes,
Nice
exactly.
to hear
So
that.
let's test it. Shall we test it?
Yes, let's test her.
Vuku, srpski narod.
Bravo! That's it, completely. Monument is important because one of the most famous sculptors, Serbian sculptors, made it. His name was Đorđe Jovanović. He have a lot of monuments he made in Belgrade, in Serbia. But this one is very famous because it was erected for his, let's say, 150 years. Yes, he would be that day when they erected the monument in 1937. On the other side, across the street, we have faculties of Belgrade University.
Wow.
Amazing. I think this had a reconstruction or something, right?
Yes. It's completely cleaned.
Yes.
Because this type of monuments need to be cleaned, let's say, at least every 50 years.
Okay.
Sometimes it depends on the weather conditions, can be cleaned at 10, 20 or 30. But also, I want to tell you that this place is pretty busy. You see a lot of cars because this is the boulevard. We have a lot of boulevards in Belgrade, but this is the one.
The one, okay.
You don't need to say, take me to the Boulevard of King Alexander. You just say, take me to the boulevard. This is it. We don't have this article in our language, but when you say the boulevard, this is this one.
Then you know.
Yes, because this boulevard was the first one, and this route actually actually is here since Romans came to Belgrade.
Wow.
Yes, it was Via Militaris, or military road for Romans when they came here and they made their first castrum in Belgrade.
Very impressive.
Wow.
We can just walk along the boulevard.
Yeah.
This is very popular. We have two sides, one with shops. This is across the street, and this one with less shops.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
for example, if you want to buy something, you can find everything in half an hour on the other side. This is the right side of the boulevard. So let's continue.
Let's see.
We have started this conversation and your visit in the boulevard with a book and alphabet, Serbian alphabet. Right now we are in front of the University Library of Belgrade University. Beautiful building in academism style.
Yeah.
And what is also interesting about this one, because the money, the big amount of money, was from Carnegie Foundation.
Ah,
yes.
the Carnegie Hall.
Yes, like Carnegie Hall. They have, yes. The family, actually, they had big foundation and they wanted to actually invest this money to some institutions. They are very good for education, for cultural life. So this one, in academism style, this library was built in a period between 1921 and 1926. So we love this academism style library, and you can see that it's very similar as other libraries. Maybe some people will tell you that, oh, it looks like Congress Library in Washington, D.C. So because of that, Serbian people were thankful for this institution. And the small street on our other side was named Carnegie Street.
Oh, that's very
So
nice.
this is Carnegie Street in Belgrade, small one, but important, between the University Library and almost historical hotel on the other side. So this is Metropole Hotel. Now it has a new name because of the new owners, but all Belgradians will tell you that the most expensive coffee in Belgrade in 60s and 70s was in Metropole. So still today, when they want to make comparison, they will tell you, they would say, oh, it's so expensive as coffee in Metropole Hotel.
What?
Yes,
So
this was
bad.
at the airport, and in Metropole Hotel. So
For the airport, I know.
Yes, yeah, but at that time people they didn't travel.
Exactly.
Yes, but it was always comparison. These two prices
Yes.
in a boulevard.
But what I want to know is how come Carnegie wanted to invest here? Or the family wanted to
Actually,
invest
this
here?
was the theme of their foundation. Nobody expected the Second World War, so they wanted to invest in some libraries, some cultural institutions. This was the mission of the foundation.
It's beautiful.
Of course, the government from that time gave the money, but huge amount was from Carnegie.
Carnegie. Beautiful.
Yes.
See.
Wow. So, what else can we see here on the boulevard?
We can walk along on the way, and on the way we can see some other things in the boulevard.
Nice.
Our next stop is the law faculty of Belgrade University. Also interesting stop. You would say maybe law faculty, nothing special. But we love meeting points. Belgradians and their guests, they love meeting points. So it's easy to commute, actually, in Belgrade by public transportation or by foot. So if you say, meet me in front of the law faculty, this is the point. Also, what is interesting, this crossroad between the boulevard and this street, this is Belgradian Street in Belgrade. Belgrade is one of the rare cities with its own street. So where are you? I'm in Belgrade Street in Belgrade. So this is the Belgrade Street, and this is connection between Slavia Square and our suburbs next to the Great Value Bank.
Yes.
From here also, when we go down the boulevard, we are going toward the center of Belgrade. As the ancient Romans did, yes, they walked this way, so we are going this same way toward the center of the city.
Do as the Romans did, you know?
One highlight after the other today for me, I really have to say.
So nice to hear that. You're welcome, we will see more things, yes. So you're always welcome, and please come again and come soon and come in different season because we can show you some other place that may be more beautiful.
I think Belgrade in summer must be a dream.
Yes. It's always, yes.
It's always, but I think also in summer.
It's a dream.
I love it. It's always a dream.
It's a dream when you come to Belgrade.
Exactly.
So, yes, you can make it more beautiful even. So please, welcome to Belgrade once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
What a day it's been, huh?
Amazing.
You know, like, who would have thought that in Belgrade you have so many different kind of things? Even within Botanical Garden, we could have seen different microclimates.
Exactly. We really did like a little travel through so many climates, as you said. This was very impressive, honestly. I will actually, I think, figure out in Switzerland if there is a beautiful botanical garden and also like go
Bring
there.
me there.
Listen, that's a deal. Okay, you come to Travnik and you come to Zurich. We always wanted to do something in Zurich, so listen.
They're so warm. Love it. Love it. Deal.
It's so quick to come here, you know what I mean? Very, very happy. Thank you so much.
Nadam se da ste i vi uživali u ovom danu sa nama kroz Beograd. Iako se možda niste danas probudili u Beogradu, nadam se da ste uživali. Vidimo se sljedeće nedelje.
Ćao.